leaders. How did they live with such macabre facts? When one unrepentant Nazi was questioned along these lines by his granddaughter, an Israeli Jew, he gave her this answer: "The guilty one is the one who feels guilty." Without batting an eye, he also made this suggestion: "Put all that behind you. Life is much simpler afterwards." It is very difficult for children to judge their parents. We lack distance and objectivity when we look at the people who brought us into the world and raised us. The stronger the emotional ties, the more complicated such a judgment becomes. When a family's history is so disturbing, what choices does it have while living with its knowledge? Embracing it? Rejecting it outright? The responses of these children are diametrically opposed at times. Some have adopted their father's positions. Few are neutral. Some have strongly denounced their father's actions, yet continue to feel love and affection for them. Still others refuse to love a monster, so they deny their father's involvement in order to preserve the unconditional love of a child for a parent. Finally, there are those who have moved into hatred and total rejection. They carry this past from day to day like a ball and chain. It is impossible to ignore. Some have denied nothing. Some have turned to religion. Some have even had themselves sterilized, so they can never transmit the evil to their children. And some have believed they could eliminate their bad genes by masturbating. Whether they have chosen to deny, suppress, or support their fathers, or feel guilty themselves, all of them have taken a position, consciously or unconsciously, on the past. Most of these children live or lived in Germany. Some converted to Catholicism or Judaism, and some were even ordained as priests or rabbis. Is this a strategy to keep quiet their fate of having been born a criminal? Aharon Sheare Yashuv became a rabbi in the Israel Defense Forces, even though his father was neither a Nazi official nor one of its principal underlings. While a theology student, Aharon, born Wolfgang Schmidt, decided against becoming a Catholic priest since he was never a believer. His conversion to Judaism, he insists, is not directly tied to the Holocaust. Though there is a particularism in Judaism on the one hand, on the other there is a lot of openness. It is a fact that converts are accepted. Not only that, but a convert can even become a rabbi and serve as a major and chaplain in the Israeli Defense Force. Dan Baron, a professor of psychology at Ben-Gurion University, interprets this type of conversion as a strategy. If you become part of the victim community, you get rid of the burden of being part of the perpetrator community. Is this an attempt to escape rather than face the past? The children who converted offer divergent responses, yet a spiritual calling has allowed some of them to put the past behind them. In post-war Germany's self-imposed silence as the country began to rebuild, the Nazis' descendants had to struggle to put themselves back together. My own grandfather was a career Air Force man who retired to a secluded hunting lodge in the Black Forest. Although I was very close to him, he never spoke about his time in the armed forces. He is not unusual. The war's shadow hung over Germany and France for many long years and still does, although tongues have loosened. When I was a child, we accepted this diktat of silence. Like my grandfather, the post-war generations avoided the subject. Some people finally adhered to the reigning mutism and never spoke of the war again, for fear of tarnishing the image they held of their parents. Would they have really wanted to know who their parents were during the war and the role they played in Germany's most sinister period? Nothing is less certain. The transmission of knowledge never took place. To flee the past, my German mother chose at the age of 20 to live by herself in France. She always wanted to be French and could not understand.